Hey, welcome. So this is our 1 year anniversary. Well, actually, it happened a couple of days ago on June 12th. I was able to convince the kids to get on board, add their input, and just kind of share some of their experiences over the last 12 months. I don't know how long they're going to be in. They might dip out, or you might see them looking on their phone from time to time because they do get bored easily and I do get long winded. Is that right, ladies? So I'm just grateful to have them here. So, as I said, we got here on June 12th and we've been through a lot. We've had a lot of stuff happen. I've been to jail, medical emergencies, just all sorts of things. Charlie was in dance school participating, and there's a lot of stuff that we've endured over the last 12 months, good and bad, that I think we got a lot more experiences firsthand than a lot of people will ever have. So we're going to talk about some of those things, talk about what we would have done differently now that we have the benefit of looking back 12 months, because there are some things we would have done differently in planning for this. We're all learning as we go, and so our goal here really is just to kind of share with you all some of the ups and downs, the pros and cons, the good and bad, etc., etc. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with them and just kind of let them share some of their experiences before I lose their attention span. And so any one of y'all want to go first, or do y'all want me to ask questions, or do y'all just want to talk about what you want to talk about? You ask questions? Okay. So, and it might be a complicated question. When we got to Mexico a year ago and where we're at now a year later, what is it like? What do you like about Mexico versus, let's say, living in the United States, from your perspective? Tell them your name.
Oh, I'm Haley, and I guess the people are nicer here, and I don't know.
What do you like about being here compared to being in the United States? Things you like to do, just some things you. If we were to leave now, if we were to leave and go back to the United States at this moment, would you be ready to go, or would you want to stay here?
I guess I had to stay here.
And why is that?
The air is just different here.
The what?
The air is just different here.
You mean like the physical air?
No. Metaphorically.
Okay, well explain, elaborate. Have fun, it's okay, there's no wrong answer here.
I don't know.
Give me something, baby.
Do you know Charlie?
Hey, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of holding closer.
Huh? Okay. Okay. Maybe I would say I have more freedom here because in the U.S. I want to be able to walk outside and then walk to the mall and then meet my friends. I wouldn't be able to walk around, go to the mall, meet my friends, and.
So what kind of independence? What are some of the things you like doing and places you like going? What's the difference between here and not being able to do those things in the United States?
Like things that are here but not in the U.S.?
Well, not things, but why do you have more independence here?
Because it's safer.
And
I just like it better overall. And like she said, the people here are better because if I don't speak the language, they're more understanding and they'll help me try and figure out what I'm trying to say, or they won't catch an attitude with me. Because in the U.S., Americans will get mad. Like if a Mexican came to the U.S., they would be mad at them. Like learn English. You just rude and disrespectful to people. But over here, I don't know.
How is your Spanish now compared to a year ago?
Mid. I'll say okay. I know a good level of Spanish, I guess.
Okay. Haley, you ready to pick back up?
Okay. To what?
About the same question, follow, because I noticed you were shaking your head a few times.
Yeah, I disagree with her.
You agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree. What part do you agree with?
Everything she said.
I want to hear it in your voice.
Yeah, like the people in America would get angry at you for not speaking English. They'd go like, "You're in America, so you should be able to speak English." When that's not true at all. But here they're nice.
Okay. What about the independence?
Yeah, we can go anywhere pretty much. Just not after a certain time, like anywhere. But yeah.
Well, as you can see, my kids are pretty shy. But really, I'll paraphrase, because we've had these conversations before when they thought we were going to go back to the States. The thing they was afraid of most was losing their independence and their freedom. As they indicated, they have more flexibility and freedoms to go where they want to go. A car is not necessary. In the United States, just the other day, my daughter called. Her car broke down, and she was on the south side of Atlanta, stuck at her uncle's house. And she was trying to get back to the north side of Atlanta where my mom had lived. She stayed with her grandma. The Uber bill was $70, $69 to get her from there to her grandma's house. So for them to go out and hang out, go to the mall, go to the movies, on average, just to get there from their grandmother's house, they'll be spending anywhere from $30 to $40 per Uber ride. If they want to go down the street and get a smoothie, we're looking at $20. Today, Haley wanted to try some crunchy chicken, Crunchy Golden, that's the name of it. It's this place that sells this crunchy chicken. And she was like, I want to go pick some up. And the Uber ride there was like $3.50. Wouldn't be able to do that in the States at that price point. So their flexibility to get in the car, go downtown, which they do quite often. They go down looking for different stuff down in the city, looking for little knickknacks and stuff. We can afford to send them, and they can afford to go. So they would lose that independence and that freedom back in the States. All of the stuff that they can do at home, all of those options are here as well. Y'all went to a trampoline park a few weeks ago. What was that like, and do y'all remember what the price was? Who want to answer?
It was fun, and I think it was like maybe 300 pesos for both of us, which is like $15.
And did they have, because we used to go to a jump park in the United States, did they have more stuff or less or about the same?
They had less stuff, but it was still fun.
Okay. Did you have anything to add to it?
Oh. Only like one thing that I was talking about only like one thing that I was talking about like a minute ago. Because if I want to walk to the mall, it's like a 3-minute walk for me. But then if in the U.S., if I wanted to walk to the mall, I would have to ask you to take me, or I would have to catch an Uber.
And when we were there, these little kids came up to us and asked us to play tag with them. I don't know if in the U.S. people would come up to us like that and ask us to play with them.
Did they do that when y'all were in the U.S.? Because y'all been to the jump park quite a bit.
No.
Okay. And so oftentimes they like, and I'm sharing this because I know a lot of y'all have children, you have teenagers, young adults, and y'all often ask what it's like from their perspective. And it's been challenging to get them on camera, but now you kind of getting the chance to hear it from their perspective. Charlie's 13, she'll be 14 in a couple of months, and Haley's 15, and just like any other children or teenagers, they want to go out and have fun. The more they go out, the more confident, the more what's the word I'm looking for? The more comfortable they get in going out alone. They'll go to a restaurant and sit down and eat together. They'll go to the mall together. They'll ride their bicycles, which we see one of them on the side of the wall. They'll ride their bicycles to the mall. There's tea shops and coffee shops all over the place. They'll go there and drink coffee. They'll go there and just hang out. A lot of these places have free Wi-Fi, so they're able to get on their phones and do the stuff they would normally do and everything. And even though their phones have data, but they hop on the Wi-Fi and just do what everybody else do. Haley likes to play the guitar. She'll hop in the car when her strings break. She'll hop in the car, her Uber ride, and go pick up strings that get added to her guitar. So oftentimes when we're busy and don't have the time to go with them or to stop what we're doing to take them, they can go by themselves. When I talk about the independence is real. We as allowing them to go out. Now, it wasn't that way on the first week or the first day. It took a couple of months to get comfortable, to really get a feel for the city and start to realize that, hey, it really is safe here. So, hey, why not? Let them grow, let them learn. So, it wasn't an issue with letting them get out and go out and do the things they want to do. Anything else y'all want to add? Let me ask y'all this, because y'all shop all the time, particularly, especially Charlie. That girl here goes, I mean, how many piercings you got in your ear? 6. You want to show it on the... This girl got all these piercings. I don't know if she got addicted to piercings or what, but it's once she got started. Go ahead, you can lift your hair up a little bit. So
this one's fake. I just bought it. This one's fake. I bought it from H&M the other day. I have this.
So she likes going over there, getting all these piercings and be begging for one in her nose, on her eyelashes, on her lip, on the nose, all over the place. We have to control. No, Charlie, you can't get all that. But again, as young teenagers, as they start to learn more about themselves and find their personality, the opportunity to do things are limitless here. All the stuff they can do back at home, they can do that here. In terms of shopping, because I've had some teenagers reach out to me asking, are the clothes the same? Can they get access to the same shoes? What are the style of clothing like? Can y'all talk to that? Is the stuff the same? Is it better? Is it about the same? Are you able to find what you want, etc., etc.?
I'll answer this because I love shopping. Okay. I love shopping. I think, hold on. Okay, anyways, I love shopping. There's like the same style of clothes that they have in the US here, and I think sometimes they're like a little better, to be honest. And they have a bunch of shops that they have in the US, like H&M, Forever 21, Zara, and a bunch of other like better shops. There's a Pull and Bear in the US, but not where I used to live, and I think I like that store. H&M is my favorite store, to be honest, and the prices are just overall better.
I'd say the prices are the same though.
You think the prices are the same?
No.
Yeah, they're the same.
Not if you know how to shop.
No, only at H&M they're cheaper, but the prices are the same.
Or if you go to like local shops, I know Grand Plaza Mall, they have a store called like Scarlet, and some other stores. If you like go to local shops and maybe shop out of stores that aren't in the US, you'll find better prices.
That's true.
Good point. And that's one of the things we often go back and forth about. I try and get them to shop local brands, not the international brands or brands that American brands like H&M, Forever 21, because of course American brands tend to be more expensive. The same thing with the food. If we go to Dunkin' Donuts or Burger King, the food costs a lot more than the local alternative. So oftentimes, like as Charlie says, if you know how to shop, tend to the local shops, tend to the local brands, you generally get a better deal, thus more stuff. And I find that to be pretty accurate as well. Anything else y'all like to add?
Well, piercing, I guess. Okay, if you like piercings, they're like really cheap over here, and I can get like really cheap jewelry here for like good, like actually like sustainable piercing jewelry like this. I got it for like $7 today. And then I got these for $6. So I guess jewelry over here is like really cheap.
And it's not cheap jewelry. It's not jewelry that's gonna turn your ear green or get fungus and all of that. So they're good, high quality. So again, I met a lot of other young ladies here and older ladies as well that are hooking up and getting tattoos done the traditional way and the more untraditional way where they kind of poke at your skin, and they are getting some incredible and by some amazing tattoo artists. So I haven't priced them, but I've just again feedback on tattoos. A lot of these folks love this stuff. So all the stuff that you do back at home, it's affordable here. They're not old enough to get eyelashes yet, but those are one of the things I hear a bunch of other young women talk about, how they can get their eyelashes done for a very, very good price as it relates to the United States. Massages, all sorts of stuff like that as well.
Like over here, I noticed that they don't like allow shops. Like, you know, like Claire's in the US or Walmart, you could go there and get your ears pierced. And those aren't even done by like actual professionals. They don't even know what they're doing. And I didn't even know until I got here that people using piercing guns aren't professional at all, and it's bad for you. So when I came over here, I was only able to go to a professional piercing shop to get my stuff done. And if it wasn't like that, then I wouldn't know that. And probably a bunch of my stuff would be infected.
Yeah, so that's a good point, because when we first got here, we went to Walmart because she wanted to get them earrings. They didn't do it, and then we didn't know the language well, so we didn't know what they were talking about. We went to other, they couldn't do it, and several other shops throughout the mall. And the common thread was, oh no, you got to go to a place, a professional where they particularly specifically do piercings. And so it had to be done by somebody who's professionally trained. And you said they don't use the guns, do they?
They don't use it like they like all use needles, and I think it hurts less. It don't hurt that bad either. Cause you know, like if you go to the US, they'll just give you it done. Like they don't care what happens to your ear after they give it on. And I noticed in the US, they don't mark your ear before they pierce it either.
I noticed that. Yeah, some places when your other sisters, they did. Some people did mark it, but they did try and eyeball it most of the time. They I don't know what them jokers were doing.
Not once got my stuff infected either.
Yeah, because I tell you, these folks, when people here who work, they take their job seriously, and they are very professional about the work. They care. They take pride in their work, and it's like a full operation when they get, not an operation like surgery, but it's a whole process. They sterilize everything. They get all these needles. They lay them out. They looking at your ear. They marking your ear. They getting the gloves on, and they getting you ready and prepping you for what's coming next. And then they telling you how to properly clean your ear so you don't get infected and all of that stuff. So it's serious business. It's not just going in, boom, and in and out in 45 seconds and you're on your way like it would be. So what do you, is there anything that you like most about being in Mexico? Or I know that's a general broad question. Do you plan to get back and dance because you've taken a break for a while? Or do you plan to get into something else?
I want to get back in the dance, but I want to do a different style that my mom doesn't agree with.
What kind of dance?
Pole fitness. But like not anything
what
pole fitness. But not anything like a stripper.
So yeah, she's been asking about pole fitness. When she first told me, I'm thinking pole dancing, and it's strange because I talked to several other ladies about it, and they were like, well, in America, y'all like to over-sexualize stuff, and this pole fitness is not all about sexualization. like it would be over there. A lot of people do it solely for fitness. It helps with their dancing, etc., etc. Now, of course, her mom is not trying to hear all that. It's not an option at the moment, and I don't know what to think about it. So I haven't even bothered to investigate it because her mama already shut it down for her. But she's been pressing and pressing. And if any of y'all got any feedback on that, please share. I'm curious just to see what others think about this topic. Not anybody who's not into it. I like to hear from those that have done it, not from the sexualization piece, but from the fitness piece. Because like I said, she's a ballet dancer, which is to pursue that as a profession. And I don't know, perhaps this pole fitness thing is something that will prepare her and get her more healthier and stronger to be a better dancer, perhaps. So, well, I appreciate y'all taking the time. Y'all can hang out a little longer. I'm gonna talk briefly about some other things and probably plug into y'all. Before I do that, did you have anything else more you want to add? Let me ask you, Haley, what do you think about the healthcare system since you've been pretty involved in healthcare, from surgery to other care? Do you have any feedback on that?
Okay, so I've never really been in the U.S., so I can't really compare it. So, but I will say when I go to the hospital in the U.S., they're not really attentive or caring to you. But here in Mexico, they're very attentive, and they're always asking you if you need anything, and they always come in the room to check on you. And yeah, from that point, the healthcare is better here in Mexico, I think.
What about access to your doctor? How is that? How had that been for you? How much access do you have to him?
I can message him anytime, and he'll respond pretty quickly. He gave me his personal phone number, so I can just message him, and if I have any questions, and he'll respond quickly.
So that's one thing that you've heard me talk about over and over again since being in Mexico with the quality of the healthcare. I am blown away with the quality. I don't second guess anything in terms of the care that we've received. And as Haley was saying, you have unprecedented access to these doctors. You have their personal cell phone numbers. Everybody here use WhatsApp. And so you're able to message these folks directly. And when they're not with a patient, you're generally getting a response back fairly quickly. I've had the same access to attorneys as well when I was having some stuff done, some paperwork. I send a message, they generally get back to me right away. So as Haley's symptoms were changing in real time, she was able to update the doctor as well as I update the doctor on what was happening. And in real time, he was making adjustments or sending us to the pharmacy to go get this or get that to continue to help and treat her symptoms and her care. So I found that extremely helpful and beneficial. That's not the access to a physician like that is not happening at all in the United States. And another thing is a lot of the doctors, most of them do make house calls. They will come to your home, see about you, see how things are going, and not only them, but labs. If you need blood work drawn, they come to your house and they'll draw your blood, send it out to the lab, and generally in a couple of hours, they send you the results directly to your cell phone via WhatsApp. So all the lab work that you get done is instantly sent to you. X-rays is immediately sent to you. They can do X-rays and ultrasound at your house. You don't have to go to the hospital to get it done. They will literally bring a portable setup and do X-rays and ultrasound in your house for cheaper than what you would pay on a copay to visit a primary care doctor in the United States. So literally complete medical care can be had. Medicines are super affordable here as well. What prescriptions, you don't even have to leave your house. They will bring them to your house, drop them off. Many of the pharmacies offer free delivery. So you buy the medicine, they bring it. You might tip the guy a few pesos But for the most part, the service is free. That's part of the service that they offer, bringing the medicines to your home. Many of the medicines, you typically don't even need a prescription. Now, you do need prescriptions for antibiotics, and you also need prescriptions for, I forget what they call them here, higher end, higher class drugs. You might need a prescription for that, but probably 90% of the medicines that you get in the States, you just walk into the pharmacy or call them and they bring it to you, or you can just go pick it up. So that's that. So we've been very pleased.
You're getting your nails done, because me and Nivea are going to get our nails done for like $20. And then she told me that they will come to your house for like only $20 or $15. Oh yeah, and Nivea's mom, she gets her nails done all the time, and her nails look really good. Like, they be putting jewels on there, gel nail polish, and it looks good.
A girl can be a girl here in Mexico and afford to be a girl. A lady can afford to be a lady in Mexico. In the States, you might not be able to afford to get all of that stuff done. That's another thing I hear other women talk about all the time, about how they get their hair done, their nails done, toes done, pedicures, eyelashes, massages, full spa treatment. They can afford it. It's affordable. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and then as they get to that age, they starting to like that stuff. As she said, $15 to $20, and that's with them coming to your house to do it. You see what I mean? See what I'm talking about? The quality of care, and it's even cheaper when you go to them. I see signs all over the place, and like she said, they don't. It's just, and I seen Lydia's mom's nails. I asked her about them. I'm like, who did your nails? Because they stood out that much, and like Charlie was saying, they got jewels in them, little jewelry in them. Her mama nail be on point. I looking at them toes. I'm looking at them. I'm like, God, dog, who did them things? You know what I mean? She be hooking it up. She be getting the hook up. So yeah, that's that. So as I said, let me pause it for a second. Yeah. So Charlie, I'm sorry, I paused the camera to make sure our stuff was recording. Charlie was talking about how good them nails look, cause them nails. Her nails is probably the best nails I ever seen done on anybody, period. And that's no exaggeration. Next time, we supposed to hook up with her family this weekend, I believe, for a barbecue. And if she let me, I'm going to record. I'm going to let y'all see her nails yourself if she let me put it on video. So, as I said earlier, we've been here for a year now. And just going to talk briefly on some things that we probably would, looking back, there are some things I would have done differently knowing what I know now. The very first thing on that list is I probably would have brought in more money. As I mentioned earlier, we've had, and I've shared this in other videos, we had a lot of medical emergencies, just unforeseen stuff we just didn't see coming. And I've had a surgery, Haley's had surgery, and you know, you can walk down the street and trip over something and break your foot. And here, if you don't have local insurance, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. And you have to, when I say out of pocket, up front before you get care. So if you don't have the money, they're not treating you. Unlike in the United States, if you have an emergency and need surgery or whatever, they will stabilize you, get you fixed up, and get you set. But here, they don't do that, particularly at the private hospitals, and many of the hospitals here are private. Now, is it difficult to get insurance? Well, a few things you definitely need to give you more access to insurance is some sort of residency of some sort, and that opens up more options for healthcare insurance. You don't have to have healthcare. You don't have to have residency to have healthcare insurance here, but again, you don't have as many options. Also, here, what was I getting ready to say? While I can get insurance here without residency, I think I already said that. I don't have as many options. So here, like I said, you got to pay up front. You got to pay out of pocket. You got to pay, and the way some of the way the insurance here tends to work, they generally charge you deductibles per issue. Like in the United States, you might have a $5,000 deductible, meaning $5,000 over the course of a year, and after that, you don't have to pay out of pocket. Here, they might charge you $1,000 per issue and deductible per issue. So I can break my leg tomorrow. I'm responsible for the first, say, $1,000 or first $500. If I go out and break my arm tomorrow, I'm responsible for that deductible. If I go out there and injure my head, I'm responsible for that deductible. So it can get kind of costly here. So and in many cases, it just might be cheaper just to pay for the procedure directly itself, which in many cases it was. Like Haley's incident. Oh, this is what I'm going to say. The issue with the health insurance here, I applied for quite a few of them, but I was denied because of pre-existing conditions. Recently they just, with the Affordable Health Care Act, they wrote out those pre-existing condition clauses. That's not the case here. If it's pre-existing, there's a waiting period before you can use the insurance. So, for example, Haley's surgery, while it was an emergency, it was a pre-existing condition. Even though she didn't know about it, it was still pre-existing because it took time for it to develop. So, according to the insurance policy that we were looking at, she would have to have waited 1 year. 1 year would have had to pass after she got the insurance before they covered it. So if we had the insurance, it wasn't going to pay for it. Now, other emergencies, the insurance, and we're still looking at policies right now, talking to an insurance agent now. They have policies that, where was I going with that? Yeah, policies whereby catastrophic emergencies, for example, if you're in a car accident or we're in the elevator and the elevator fall down and we get injured, then the policies would probably be very worth it. In fact, policies where there's an accident, like car accidents, there are no deductibles that are required to pay. So having a policy for extreme emergencies definitely is a good idea. And that is something that we are currently investigating right now and looking at, talking to a couple of companies. And as I learn more about the pricing, I will definitely share that with you. So fortunately, I know for my surgery, my Obamacare Affordable Health Care Act plan did cover my surgery. I did have to pay monies up front until they got a letter of guarantee or a guaranteed letter of payment from the insurance company, which took a few days. So I had to pay money up front and then pay some money the next day and the next day until they got that letter. So they weren't going to admit me into the hospital until I made a payment. And so having that emergency money on hand would help and go a long way into, one, at least making sure you get admitted and start getting treatment for whatever issue you're dealing with. And while you're in the hospital, you can start working on ways to get the money. But for the most part, they're not going to let you out of that hospital until you pay the bill. So more money exclusively for medical emergencies, not monies for living expenses, but exclusively for medical emergencies, $10,000, especially if you have children. I would have had that set to the side because, again, you just don't know. And I had no clue that we would be dealing with any of this stuff. And even for my own health, I didn't see it coming. And again, accidents can happen. One other thing I wish I would have done is practice my Spanish more. I have not did a good job practicing. What you smiling about, Charles? What are you smiling about? I would have practiced my Spanish. Wow, it's not, and you've heard me say from the beginning when we first got here, you don't have to know the language. You can get by without it. And there are a lot of people here that don't know the language. but the quality of life and your experiences are greatly improved the more you know. And I'm seeing that because even now, even though I don't have the language wrapped up right now, I know a lot more than I did a year ago. And so a year later, I'm able to understand more of what people are saying. And while I may not be able to talk it, I understand more and I'm able to communicate better and get a few words out to the point where they understand me. And that has made things so much more easier for me. I have not put in the effort to practice like I should. Even if it was just 1 hour per day. If I honestly put in 1 good hour per day, my Spanish would be a lot further along now than it would have been a year ago. Probably enough to the point where I can probably get by pretty good if I just did that. So that's something I've recently started working on. I've started buying children's books, reading those and learning those and getting a better understanding. So my advice, if you're going to come to a Spanish speaking country, try and learn as much of it as you can, because in the beginning when you first get here, it can be overwhelming and stressful and frustrating if you don't know the language. I think for most people that leave not knowing the language, that's a big barrier and it can be a breaking point for many people. But you got to put in the time. You're not going to learn Spanish just by being here. When they talk about full immersion, they mean full immersion where you're all the way in and nobody around you is speaking English. You don't have the opportunity to speak English. Full immersion is you're in these neighborhoods where nobody speaks English and nobody can help you. Nobody can come save you. And a year later, you will be better off, way better off. But that's not the case here, because a lot of the neighborhoods and a lot of the places that people go to, there's plenty of English-speaking folks. And because you're not fully immersed in it, you're not learning. So I would probably have picked another neighborhood to live in whereby everything around me is just Spanish, 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 Spanish. No help. And that's one thing I'm actually looking at now, moving to another area so that we can be a little bit more immersed and whatnot. You have anything to add to it about speaking Spanish?
Yeah, what you said. I'd try my best to learn and immerse yourself into it and just keep practicing, even if it's just like 10 minutes a day. Just practice as much as you can or as much as you have time for.
Anything, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree though. I don't know how we be. Put yourself in places that would they speak Spanish, like a dance class or something, or I don't know, just something fun that you like to do. What mainly was people speak Spanish, and then you'll pick up some words. Because I'm not gonna lie, I be slacking now, because yeah, I don't know. I want to learn it, but then I'm kind of, I don't know, a little like unmotivated. That makes sense, because I don't be doing it how I'm supposed to be doing it.
Thank you, ma'am. And so yeah, like they said, like Charlie, when she was in class, everybody in the class spoke Spanish. There was a couple of English speaking people there, but she picked up stuff that she wouldn't have picked up by not being around other Spanish speakers. And she was in class for many hours, 6 days a week, so that helped. Now both of these kids, I don't know how they learned, particularly Haley. I'm like, how the hell y'all learn Spanish? Especially when they first got here, I'm like, y'all ain't going nowhere. How y'all picking this up? And how y'all know what the heck he done said? I'm struggling to understand what they done said, and they already got it figured out. And I'm like, what? So them kids are learning quick. It's absorbing, and they absorbing it through osmosis, I guess, because I'm like, how that happening? So like they said, get yourself in a situation where you're forced to learn and make an effort, put a schedule out to actually practice. You got to practice, and again, it will make your quality of life so much better, and your experience is so much better. Because there's some days when I go to the store, I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this today. I can't explain myself. I can't communicate. And it's the simple words that you struggle with. And when you think you know it, it goes right out the window as soon as you stand in front of somebody. But that's why practice is so important, so that you can get it and understand it.
I guess don't be scared when you're speaking Spanish, because when I got here, I was like really scared because I felt like embarrassed to speak it. Like, what if my pronunciation is off or something like that? And I feel like, I don't know, they were just silently judging me in their head or something. But when I was in dance class, they would be really happy with me when I would say something in Spanish, because they'd be like, how are you, in Spanish? And I'll be like, good. And then they were all like, literally, I'm not even joking, they were all like extremely happy. And this girl walked, so my teacher, she was like, ¿Cómo estás, Charlie? I was like, bien. So then later on, like 2 minutes later, this girl walked in, and then she was like, Valet, valet, valet. And then she told me, and she told Valet that I said bien in Spanish. And she was just really happy over a small word.
And sometimes they probably will laugh at you sometimes. So just be prepared for that. They don't mean it in like a malicious kind of way. They mean it in like a fun, joking way. But they probably will laugh at you.
Wait. Me and Nivea with the water park, right? So mierdo is like scared of writing in Spanish, okay? And then mierda is like poop or something. So we were on the zip line thingy, and then Nivea was like, tengo mierda, which is like, I have to like poop or something, or I have poop.
That was it.
And then it was me and then this guy who was helping us started laughing, and then she wiped herself.
Yeah, so like they said, don't be afraid to put yourself in a situation to talk. Once you, and as Charlie said, when you actually make the effort to speak in their language, they get excited. They really do get excited to see you make the effort. They really do. And oftentimes you'll meet people who also other local Spanish speakers who are trying to learn English, and they will generally try and converse back and forth with you in English. And Haley got a phone number today. There's a young guy at the Crunchy Chicken place who wants to learn and practice his English because he wants to go to Canada. And so they exchange numbers. She's going to help him practice his English, and he's going to help her with her Spanish. So it's a win-win if you actually get out here and make the effort. There are people here. And here's the beauty. You might not even have to pay for any Spanish classes. You get a real local who lives right here in this city, in this region, who will teach you the basics because they want to learn from you as well. So, but you just have to take advantage of that. A lot of these folks, they speak real good English, but they lack the confidence and they don't think they sound good. And that's the reason why a lot of us don't speak Spanish, because we don't think we sound good, but they be sounding good. And so, but go with it. Another thing that I would have done differently, really, and I talked about this before, you got to stick to your budget. Whatever your numbers are, whatever your budget is, you got to stick to the plan. Because although a lot of stuff here is extremely affordable, you'll find yourself spending more money. Charlie came up to me, hey, Daddy, can I go to the store and get a cake? And I'm like, yeah, the cake. I'm like, how much does the cake cost? Oh, just 30 pesos. What'd you say, 30 pesos or 35 pesos? 34 pesos, so we're talking like $1.50. And that cake was good, big, nice piece of cake. And so you just hear 30 pesos, $1.50, it don't sound like much. You're like, yeah. But before you know it, you done been to the store 10 times or bought 10 items, and you're doing that every day, and those numbers catch up to you. So your money start leaving your pocket, start leaving your bank account. So it's definitely something you got to do, is stick to the budget. Because what's going to happen when you first get here, you're going to get excited. You want to try everything. You want to try the restaurants. You want to go to the mall. You want to buy this. You want to go here. You want to do that. You want to go to the cenotes. You want to go to the pyramids. You're going to do a whole lot of stuff that's going to break into your budget. And because it doesn't sound like the prices are high, It's gonna sneak up on you, and before you know it, your money gonna be gone. So that's one more thing I wish I would have done, was stuck to the budget no matter what. I did take pride in not doing all of the tourist stuff when we first got here. I was like, you know what, we'll wait for a year before we do all of that. Don't want to get caught up with spending unnecessary money doing all of that stuff. So it's been a year now, and everybody and their mama have been to the cenotes. We haven't yet. We're actually looking at going either this weekend or next weekend. And so that's just one strategy I decided to do. Not going to go to all the museums. We went to one. Didn't go to all of the pyramids. Didn't go to all of the different things. Just more or less taking our time. Because what happens is, if you try and run through doing all these things that tourists do, and you do them all in the first month or two, you come from the natural high and you come to a low, because all the excitement and all the fun is gone. You done did everything. Then you start getting depressed. Then you start looking sad. Now your money a little low. Now you feeling really depressed. And now you like, man, I need to go on back home. So don't get caught up in that. Come here with a plan. Stick to the plan. Find a house in the budget range that you want and stick to that. It's tempting to get caught up and get these bigger houses because they are much more affordable here than they were to you back in the States. And the downside is you're paying a lot more money than you need to. When if you take your time and stick to your budget and get creative and look at all the options available to you, you could have gotten that place for a much better deal, which equals more money in your pocket. You know what I mean? So like the young lady that was here, I mean, she done trimmed her rent by over $1,000. I'm not gonna give you the exact number, but she's saving over $1,000 on her rent per month simply by making a move here. That's amazing. What more could you do with an extra $1,000 a month? You could do, and that don't count the savings she's gonna have from food expenses, groceries, cell phone bills, utilities, internet, all of that. Her bills, her costs is gonna drastically cut, way half. So that's another thing. So jumping, we already on, baby. So another thing is, if y'all think you're gonna be staying for a while, get them visas. I didn't do that when we initially came. The plan wasn't. Our plan was not meant to stay here long term. We were just going to stay for a few months and hop over to some other countries to explore other cost-effective communities, cities, and countries where your money can go further. Thus the name Move Abroad and Thrive. So we didn't do the residency thing, and now we have to kind of jump through hoops. I'm not going to get into it because I've already talked about this before, but things are just a little bit more complicated because we didn't do it. So if you can do the residency option before you get here, do that. There are two options that you have: temporary residency and permanent residency. Visit the U.S. Embassy to get details, the Mexican Embassy in the state that you reside or wherever one is located in the U.S., and start the paperwork and the process there. It's very affordable for you to do it before you get here. You can't do it here in Mexico. You got to do it from the States. So that's one other thing I would have done differently as well. And I've already talked about saving more. I would have saved more money. That's something I could have done, versus buying all these little things here, buying little things there and whatnot. Saving more money just would have been more beneficial to us. Goal here is to eventually buy a house, and had we started saving, we would have been 1 year ahead. So probably about another 1 to 2 years off from buying a house in the future here in Mexico. So this will most likely be our home base. I do plan to get back on the road, and we're going to do a little bit more traveling to explore other places. But this here will be home base from which we'll do everything from, for the most part, because we really do love it here. A year later, we've acclimated to the heat. It's not so bad of a thing, and in fact, the house that we're in now does not have AC in the living room. So we've made it through the hottest parts of the year, May, and making it through June, and we're surviving. I don't want to do that again, so the next house is definitely going to have an AC in it. And again, this time around, going to be smarter and shop smarter for a home. I know we can get better deals now that 12 months later, I know exactly what to do and what we're doing. Anything else y'all like to add? Okay. Well, what I'm going to likely do is host a 1-year live questions and answers session over the next, probably do that very, very soon. So if you can do me a favor in the comments for these videos, just scroll down, leave a comment, leave your questions. What do you like to know? What would you like to know? And when we do the live event, I will post that. We will address those questions on live. If you haven't already subscribed to my website, go to the website www.moveabroadandthrive.com. You'll see an option there for some free on that list, so that when we send out the email blast for the live, you will be notified. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe. If you haven't liked our page, like our page at facebook.com/Move Abroad and Thrive as well. If you find our content helpful, please make a donation. Cash App, $Cartez Ross, or Zelle. My email address, cartez@cartezross.com as well. And appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Like I said, I'm going to save a lot of this stuff for the live, and we'll leave your comments below so that we can get those addressed. Book a consultation, email me, drop in my DMs on Facebook, and we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all's support, that when y'all helped us out during these emergencies that we've had. Thank y'all very much. Any last words y'all got? All right.
Bye.
Dude says, thank y'all for watching.